Mishnah, we say Kol Sha'o, every hour on Erev Pesach, Shemuta Lechol, when it's permissible for a person still to eat chometz, and as we all know, on Erev Pesach, you can eat chometz according to the law of the Torah until midday, and according to the law of the Torah, you can also really have benefit from it until 12 o'clock. But with the Rabbanan, they made a decree. The main reason is not everybody has a watch on him, and if they do, sometimes they don't work properly. And in the times of the Mishnah, many people had no clock on them, but decided the time according to the sun. Not every day was sunny enough, although they were quite accustomed to measure, but the measure, if there wasn't a sundial in front of them, went according to each person's own habits of how he conveys time, and often be mixed up, 1 hour with the next. Therefore the sages made decrees, as you'll find also in every calendar for Erev Pesach till today. A certain time until which you're still allowed to eat chometz, then they tell you that, generally speaking, 2 hours before midday you've got to stop eating chometz, and then 1 hour before midday you've got to start burning the chometz, because it all become burnt by 12 o'clock. So we know there are different opinions already mentioned in the previous Mishnah concerning what are the exact types of prohibitions of the rabbis. So here's the general principle, that as long as permitted to eat chometz, you're also allowed to give the chometz to your animals. To the behema, the chai, and the ufot, both to domesticated and to more non-domesticated animals, and to the birds. So, this is the concept, which is discussed in the Gemara a little bit later, that when you give to animals, they don't always eat it straight away. And therefore, although you say, well, you're allowed to eat, let's say before 10 o'clock you're allowed to eat, but if you've got pets, like or birds, and what they do, they don't eat right away. Some things they eat, and some they leave over. The birds, especially for their nests. You'll see here outside the yeshiva in the morning, all of the pigeons, they go and swallow what they've got, nearly always. Their beaks aren't strong enough to convey large chunks. But the ravens, you'll see in the morning, the yeshiva, the ravens, they can pick up a huge chunk, a huge, even part of a loaf of bread, for example, and they fly away with it to provide for their young. So if it's chometz, nice piece of cake, nice piece of bread, after all you're giving it to them. Maybe it'd be giving some of your own cake you want to get rid of on Erev Pesach, you give it to the ravens, but they're going to take it to the nest, and they'll take it to the nest even there's enough food sometimes for the next day. So your chometz still exists. So nevertheless we say you're allowed to give. It's discussed in the Gemara. Also you can sell it to a non-Jew. Umutabana also. And when you're allowed to eat, you're allowed to have benefit. But ovazmanai, whatever this time has passed, that means when it's forbidden to eat, also can't have any benefit. Also, you shouldn't go and use chometz when you're burning up chometz. So even when you're burning it up, you might say, well, I'll get benefit from it. A person needs to heat. Maybe hasn't got much fuel and needs to heat up his food for the afternoon. Says, okay, well, I've got any case, I've got to burn up all the chometz. So you burn the chometz, let's say from 11 till 12, he's burning the chometz, by 12 it's all going to be burnt. He said, well, I might as well use the fire to go and heat up my water. So use it to heat, or heat up the oven, so that I can use. That's called a hanoah. Okay? Therefore, we say you shouldn't even heat up the oven. There's a Tano Chiraim. There's some ovens which have a double top, and some ovens are one top. And underneath, you're burning up the chometz. It gets burnt up, and then you might have thought I could use that because I don't have the fuel to heat up my food. You shouldn't do it. It's also forbidden because you're not supposed to have hanoah even from burning up the chometz. You didn't find here, if you go Neder Pesach, as we do it as well, we burn up the chometz on the path, at the bottom of the hill, and there's people are advised to go and start burning from 11 o'clock to make sure that it gets burnt up by 12 o'clock. But sometimes you find, even after 12, even let's say 4 in the afternoon, there's still chunks of chometz there, still get burnt up. See? So, of course, you have to make bittul. But it shows us, it gives us the background to this psak. You shouldn't go and think that you can have use from that burning up, because then you're having hanoah. You're not allowed to do any hanoah from chometz. It's still chometz be'em, it's still chometz not burnt up. Yeah.
So don't we know this from Kal V'chomer? I mean, if the hummus is supposed to be destroyed when you stop eating it, so Kal V'chomer you can't get enjoyment from it.
You can't, I might have thought, if you're in the process of burning it up, at least, or you would have to make sure, you might think, have to make sure that it becomes burnt up by 12 o'clock, right, to start with. What happens if it doesn't become burnt by 12 o'clock, you still find it around? There's no question what you should do. But certainly you should say bittul. You should make a bittul on it. I mean, you should make it like dust of the earth and make it ownerless. It shouldn't belong to you. But there's also another man you must not have. There's an ism in HaTorah to have benefit from chometz after 12 o'clock. Lo yid. It says, too loving. You should not have, what is that? So there's an ism in HaTorah not to have benefits learned from lo tochal chometz mentions. Lo tochal chometz is mentioned with regard to eating. It's also mentioned with regard to not having benefit from 12 onwards. There's another din, you shouldn't have a chometz in your possession after 12 o'clock. Yeah? So what you have to do, the first thing you have to do, while you're burning it up, you have to make the declaration, I'm also at the same time nullifying its value to such an extent you will let the dust of the earth, in which case, the Torah says it's called the dust of the earth, you can bottle it. And the bittul makes it so it doesn't exist, and therefore from 12 o'clock onwards you're fine. But until 12 o'clock, you're transgressing also prohibition of the Chachomim to have benefit. If you're using it to heat up the oven, or to heat up water for the afternoon, you're having benefit from 11 till 12, which is forbidden according to Chachomim. And after 12, of course, Torah mustn't have benefit. That's understood. And this Mishnah tells the Midrabbanan, the Issa, it's because it's a Kol Shor. Kol Shor includes here the rabbinical law. The rabbinical law is that you take a precaution of 1 hour beforehand, and we say Midrabbanan, it's forbidden to eat, it's forbidden to have benefit, apart from the fact that it's also forbidden to have it in your possession.
How can you have benefit from it if it's just being burnt? If you, I mean, indirectly, the only reason you got heat is because the chametz is being burnt, but you're not actually using that to burn chametz.
That's why the Mishnah says, but if you heat up your oven with it, or you have hot boiled water, have hot water, you're having benefit. Apart, you're burning, fulfilling the mitzvah, or burning the chometz throughout the hour from 11 till 12, in order that by 12 o'clock there will be no chometz left. That's what we're trying to do. Very good. That's what you have to do. But you shouldn't think, see, in any case I'm heating it up. What's wrong with me heating it up? I'll go outside, I've got no heating in the house. I've only got heating, the heating I've got is burned, the little fire that burned outside the house, or wherever it is, to destroy the chometz. I'll use that to heat up my ovens. I'll have hot water in the afternoon. Balaboston is very busy, so I need to provide tea for the family. They need a hot drink. So therefore, I might as well use the hot water that comes from using the burning of the chometz to provide hot water. So we should tell them, no, you're not allowed to. Because that's having benefit. Midrabon says it's forbidden.
What happens if it's cold night and you're having benefits from the fire? Okay, it's a cold morning and you're having benefit from the fire for the heat. You're getting warmed up. Come children, come outside, it's much warmer in here. Is that allowed?
Look, we're going off with a tangent. Once you go off with this tangent, so we'll have to spend the rest of the year on it. Because that's called a grammar. So let's not go into that. I prefer not to put in. I just want to bring an understanding of the Mishnah, basic understanding of the Mishnah, and also the next piece of Gemara, which is part of it we've learned. So let's not, it's a very appropriate question, but we get too complicated to go into these other issues at present. Yes. But if you've got any question that deals with what's the simple meaning here in the Mishnah?
So if I'm in Tokyo and I cannot burn anywhere chametz and I have my own stove, I don't want to derive any benefit, but I just put the chametz, I destroy it, and indirectly we're gonna be a benefit. We're gonna be heat in the house. Is that the Mishnah referring to, or is the same thing which Doron asked? Is the same thing?
Well, it's similar. I'd give the same answers I gave to Doron.
That's how I understood the Mishnah.
Huh?
That's how I understood the Mishnah. This is how I understood it.
That
Even though you don't want to derive any benefit, but you're gonna be indirect benefit, you still are not allowed.
Look, but from the words of the Mishnah is speaking of Yasik Batam V'chirayim. You should not heat your oven with it. But if it's your cold, you want to heat, just have some warmth for yourself. That's indirect.
I don't want any more. I just want to destroy the chametz, but we're gonna be indirect.
You don't want to destroy the chametz?
I want to destroy the chametz.
Yeah.
I don't want any benefit, but I will still have benefit.
Oh, look, this. No. I can see we're near that boiler. Says Dovashin is Chabe Mutter. I just mentioned this more to get some humor into it. The Rav Shimon ben Yochai, he's in his halacha, he very much goes after intention. He said a person doesn't intend to do something which is forbidden, then we say it's permissible. I'm not going into the details, which instances.
Yes.
That would need probably half as much to explain. But still, it has a lot to do, if you go to the Chitz of Shimon Choy, he went very much in the question of intention. You say a person that does not have even Shabbos, which is still Chamur, Davashem is Chavin's Mutter. If you don't intend to do the Malacha, then there's no transgression.
You're still right there, sir.
Well, it depends whether Nichale or Lo Nichale. Let's go into the details. They ask me if you don't intend. So look, it's that's what I'm saying. We can't deal with these questions at this point. I just want to show you to understand a little bit the complex structure of this Mishnah. The Mishnah at the beginning, Kol Sha'ah, is dealing with the hours on Erev Pesach where there's no straightforward din. Before 10 o'clock, everything's permissible. The pastors, yeah? But after 10 o'clock, things become forbidden, according to different opinions. And from 12 o'clock, forbidden rabbinically. From 12 o'clock, everything is forbidden, Minat Torah even, came out everything. Yeah? So this is the first part of the Mishnah. But then Rabbi Yehuda carries on and tells us a different matter. The reason why it's mentioned here is because we're dealing with the same time question. And it's a certain relationship. The first part of the Mishnah deals with the various aspects of eating and benefiting from according to rabbinic law, and there's certain difference of opinion earlier in the Mishnah already about that. So here it says, without going now to the question of who's who owns which one, but the principle is every hour, it means every of these, amongst these 2 hours, when it's, and beforehand, when it's permissible to eat, you can also give to animals. And I might have thought, when you give it, let's speak simply, I might have thought animals is worse. Why? Because human beings, we know, you're allowed to eat till 10 o'clock, after 10 o'clock it's forbidden, and you can keep to it, because we can control our actions. And therefore, no Jew wants to keep the Torah properly, he's going to eat any chomet when it says, from 10 o'clock onwards, I mean, it's got to stop eating. Then we never stop eating. But animals, you give animals food, they will go on eating it. And there's some food they'll eat right away, you can see it. But sometimes you can't even watch them eating, but then sometimes you watch them carry things away. And then some, let's say like the rats and the mice, well, you know, you have to run after them. Where they're hiding the pieces of cream cake that they took, where they hide it. Yes, there's even more serious questions. Who says, can you feed rats or mice? No, don't do that. But cats also. You know, cats who want to, they see some nice cream cake, well, they might take it to the kittens. You don't know where they keep their kittens in a hidden place. So I might have thought it's forbidden. We say, no, it's okay. But the Gemara answers the question, which way? So that's the first din of the Mishnah. Then comes the din of the Mishnah, or also you mustn't have benefit in those 2 hours, and therefore, if you're going to use the burning of the chometz itself, when you've got a fire and you've got no other fire, and you want to have boiling water for drinks, for afterwards, for lunchtime, or even for tea time, well, you can preserve some. So be careful, because you mustn't have benefit. That's also having benefit. Now you're asking Dovashem Mitzchav, and let's say he's not really burning it to have benefit. No, so he's burning it for the chometz. And by the way, he's in a cold place, he's in the Arctic, and by burning his fire sinks. So is it permissible? He gets benefit from it. So that's the Dovashem Mitzchav. Let's go to the next thing. Next thing is Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Ein bi chometz elo sreifo, chom oimrim av. Now, this comes a basic question. It says in the Chumash, so right back to the law of the Torah, it says, until midday, you can eat chometz, everything. From midday onwards, the chometz has to be out of your possessions. How do you get the chometz? Tashbis is on before. You've got to remove all chometz 11 from your possessions, get rid of it. So that means by that time, let's speak simply, we do, I mean, people have got chometz, and they've got chometz which is valuable. So what they have to do? They have to sell it. Yeah, you can sell it. You can sell it before, and you can sell it during Nissan. You go to the Beis Din and sell it. But Beis Din will not only do, when do the Beis Din make the sale? A Beis Din, any court that's responsible for selling chometz, or anybody who wants to sell chometz to a non-Jew, and he's got a non-Jew, he must sell it to him before Minal Torah, before which time?
Midday.
Midday, because it belongs to the Pasuk, Ach Bayom HaRishon. It says, chometz has been all Pesach. You might have thought Pesach is from the 15th night onwards, when we celebrate it in all various aspects. No. Bayom HaRishon means the preceding day to Pesach is called Yom HaRishon. And why is it called Pesach? Because that's the time when you have to do the slaughtering and preparation of the Korban Pesach, after which the name Pesach comes, called the Korban on the animal. And that you have to deal with on Erev Pesach, that's Yom HaRishon. And it says Ach Bayom HaRishon, which means half the day. From midday onwards, it's also got a din of Pesach. And therefore, from midday onwards, you have to have all the chometz burnt up, tashbisu. Now, there's a whole question. It does not say in the Chumash. Why did the Chumash say Tavaru? Go and burn it up. It doesn't say burn up. But it's like this. Rabbi Yehuda holds when it says in the Chumash, tashbisu, it means burning it. So you've got to burn it. You've got a mitzvah to burn it. But to burn it up by half day. Otherwise, the way to get rid of it is by burning it. But the Chumash say, no. I'll tell you, in order to simplify matters, it's not everybody agrees to this in the whole suks of the Gemara. I'll tell you how we can look at it from a conceptual angle. Tashbisu means really, comes the word Shabbos, to stop something. Yeah, or the first day before Shabbos, to stop something. So in other words, Tashbisu, literally, in the wide sense, Tashbisu means you've got to make sure that it is removed from your possessions. In other words, the real din of destroying chometz is destroy chometz for a purpose. You've got to destroy it so there'll be none left in your domain. Just like the Chumash said, you mustn't have any chometz in your possession from half day Erev Pesach till after Pesach. So therefore, by half day Erev Pesach, it must not be in your possessions. How can you do it? Let's suppose he's got a store of whiskey, or he's got in his freezer, he's got cream cakes and which are worth $1,000. So what will he do in his shop? What's he going to do? So of course he can make a real contract with a non-Jew and put it into his possession. It's no longer his. That's what people do. We all do it. But I'm telling you, people, some is a mistake. They made a mistake this year as well, some people. People came to me, Pesach, Erev Pesach, by 10, 11 months. They said, can I sell chometz? I said, no, I don't do the sale myself. I have to take signatures of people who agree to the contract. The Beis Din is in town, and the Beis Din, in fact, I go there quite a bit before, because they don't have time to wait till they settle with the non-Jew. They settle with the non-Jew in the last hour, from 11 till 12. They settle everything with him. And you've got to give him all the contracts. They have their thousands of contracts, which they all take together, and they sell them all to the non-Jew. So therefore, you can't sell chometz anymore after 12 o'clock, by any means. It's got to be sold before. And the people, like myself also, we're just a shliach, and therefore we can't arrange the sale anymore. Even after 9 o'clock or so, 9:30, I go off. I can't do any more sales. Someone comes to you afterwards, sorry, I can't do it anymore. So therefore, the Chachomim say it doesn't really matter how you do it, how you get rid of it. You get rid of it by selling to a non-Jew. You get rid of it by throwing it to the sea. Just like with this, you'll find chometz for Pesach. What you do? What's the best? Practically speaking, what's the best thing to do?
Cover it.
Huh?
Cover it.
Yeah, but no, the chatchila. Let's on Chol HaMoed you find Pesach.
Make it unedible.
Look, how about you throw it down the toilet? That's what we do. It's considered, so let's throw it because we're passing at the Chachomim. But it's not even Rabbi Yehuda agrees. There's a mitzvah to burn it up. But that's as long as you burn it up before 12 o'clock. Afterwards, it's too late. can't burn up anymore. But you can burn it also. You find it, you burn it. If it's Erev Pesach still, burn it up. Better late than never. You didn't burn it by 12 o'clock, burn it afterwards. So make sure it gets burned.
But isn't
And Chol HaMoed is,
Pardon?
in Chol HaMoed is not good to burn it?
Which way?
Chol HaMoed is not good to burn it?
Of course.
It's good.
Avadai. Burn it up, whatever's quicker.
but isn't
Burn it up if you can.
It's just quicker to flush it.
Pardon?
It's quicker to flush it,
Throw it down, yeah.
because it's quicker.
Yeah, whatever's quicker. You don't know, something is too big, it won't. It's all different situations.
in the terms of our Mishnah, isn't Rabbi Yehuda saying that the only way to get rid of chometz is to burn it?
No.
And then the Chachamim are saying that also you can toss it into the sea or pass it
No.
as well.
Yeah, that is in fact the whole discussion in the earlier sugya, the first chapter. But let's all got to do also whether you read here, there's one reading. Find here Gimel. What's it say Gimel on the side? Find Gimel in brackets. What's it say? Af. Question whether you read Af. Oh, he's got, yeah, Af Mafarev Zerua. Means even the Chachom agree, to start with, it's better to burn it. But what happens if it's if you don't burn it? You can crumble it, make it to crumbs, and then throw it to the wind, it gets dispersed, or throw it into the sea. Fishes will eat it up. So therefore, there's anyway. Let me make it a bit easier as follows. We'll not go into all the details. We find here the first part of the Mishnah deals with the time. The second part deals with the manner. So the manner, call it simple. If you do read Af, like it says here, Chom also say you can also burn it. Yeah? You can burn it. If it's difficult to burn up or something, you can throw it into the sea. Maybe you've got to crumble it first or not, because the question is, you throw it in the sea where the fishes will eat up right away. That's only if it's in crumbs. If it's loaves of bread, it's your loaves of bread, and then the sea, and there's such a big loaf, and let's say the sea could be all sorts. Could be a fish pond, or even it's a question you've got an aquarium. It's good enough for the aquarium, but then you've got to put it in. The crumbs will be eaten up right away. Otherwise, it would loaf of bread in the aquarium to stay all over Pesach.
The fish diet.
That's benefiting, right?
Anyway, so let's leave that. The second part of the Mishnah deals with that is the manner in which you have to do it. And the Mishnah really doesn't go into the question when you do the Biur Chometz. That's got to do with the previous part. When you do the Biur, when you destroy the Chometz, there's a Lachatchila time, which is during the 2 hours between different periods, between 10 and 12. That's when you've got to obviously destroy it before the 12 o'clock cutting off time. Then it becomes Minat Torah. Of course, Biur Chometz also applies later. If you've got Chometz left, what do you do with it? On Erev Pesach, what do you do on Pesach? When it's Yom Tov, what do you do in Chol HaMoed? They're all different dinim, they're different situations. That's the second part of the Mishnah. But to understand this better, I want to already start with the Gemara, because we did deal with it, which explains this Mishnah in the light of the previous Mishnahs. That's why when I began this year, I said we must do an introduction of the previous Mishnahs, because it's a continuum. This second chapter is based on the first chapter. And everybody asked me the question at the beginning of the year, so why did we start the second chapter? Why not the first? I explained to them, the first chapter goes in such deep discussions, in so much detail, that it will take us probably a year to do it. Even to understand it. So there was much better we start with the second chapter, which is more, we do it to great depth, of course, it will also take a year. But the way we are learning, the way I saw everybody follows in, we're learning to try really to understand it, to learn how to learn also. So therefore, that gives us the opportunity to really have a chapter which we might be able to finish. And also contains many principles that don't just have to do with Pesach. They have to do with many different aspects of of the forbidden and permitted foods and other also forbidden and permitted benefits one's allowed to have from food and other things. So it's a very basic perek. But in order to understand this Mishnah, we see in the Gemara already, we have to go back to the Mishnah we did superficially on Yud Beis Omid Beis. On Yud, yes, Yud Aleph Omid Beis. Page 11b. We will all turn to it. 11b, Gemara. Because also this Mishnah is quoted in the next few lines of the Gemara to explain the Mishnah we've just discussed. So they were intertwined. Let's go into more details. What are the differences of opinion concerning those 2 hours? From 10 till 12. So Chaim, would you like to say the Mishnah? I think it's before, so very good. Abinei Omer?
והווי אומר,
Yud Beis Omid Beis.
כל 5 ושורפין בתחילת 6. ויהודה אומר,
Just a minute, what does that mean?
the verse
It's not
says,
be clear.
you can eat the whole of the 5th hour.
That means, let's call it in our terms of all. That means you eat from 12 to 11. That's the 5th hour. From 10 to 11. The 5th hour is from 10 to 11.
ושורפין בתחילת 6, then you burn the beginning of the 6th hour.
That means from 11 you start burning. From the beginning of the hour. So Rashi says,
She says,
you've got to start burning at the beginning of the 6th hour.
אף על גב כל שעה שישיס מדורייסה שריעה
Sharia. Although
שריעה.
the whole of the hour from 10 to 11, no, sorry, the whole hour from 11 till 12, this is the 6th hour. The whole hour from 11 till 12, the Torah says there's no prohibition of the Torah, even to eat. It's only when the rabbi said you mustn't. But the Torah says you can. Because the Torah says, Ach bayom Hashem, Ach means half the day, it means midday. From midday onwards, you transgress prohibitions of the Torah if you possess or eat chametz. But the Chachomim said, well, if you're going to leave people to go and burn up all the chametz they've got left, just at the last 5 minutes, they won't manage it. That's what the Chachomim said. Let's say if all you guys a few crumbs, you can do it. But we've got to make a wider decree to make it practically more easy for all Jews to keep the law of the Torah. Therefore they should start burning at 11 o'clock. That's why God the Rabban
עליה, דילמה,
Toy, you might make a mistake.
וסבור על השביעי שהיא
Shishis, he thinks that, or he thinks he's making a mistake. He thinks it's before
76
midday,
hours.
it's still before 12 o'clock. Really, he's well into the 7th hour, which means it's between 12 and 1. He doesn't look at the clock, or he just relies on what he sees the sun above him. It's not strong enough because people don't always know the correct time. And he thinks the 7th hour is the 6th hour. He thinks it's already well past 12, it's half past 12, but he thinks in truth, it's already half past 1. He thinks it's half past 12. He thinks it's half past 11, when in truth it's already half past 12.
אבל
החמישיס,
החמישיס
what about the hour from 10 to 11?
לא טועה נאמר על
People don't make
השביעיס
a mistake by 2 hours.
שהיא משישיס ומותר.
People do not generally think that between the hour between 12 and 1 and they think it's really been told 1, but they make a mistake. They think it's only between 10 and 11. That's according to Rabbi Meir. But Rabbi Yehuda Omer who disagrees.
So
Whenever you say it, Doron or Paul, whatever. I want to say the next line, the mission, Rabbi Yehuda Omer. You have it?
in the Mishnah.
Rabbi Yehuda Omer Oichlin Kol Arba V'Soilin Kol Chomesh V'Sofrin V'Ticheles Shesh V'Od.
So how would you translate that?
That you can,
You're allowed to eat,
you're allowed to eat all of the 4th hour,
which means from 10 to 11.
and you can start burning from the 1st.
Now, Kol Arba means from 9 to 10.
9 to 10.
9 to 10. 9 to 10 you can eat, no problem. But from 10 to 11, toilet, what toilet mean?
You must stop eating.
Because
You can feed still.
you have to stop, because you mustn't eat. You don't have to burn yet, but you mustn't eat to have benefit. Why not? Because people might make a mistake. The sofin,
And you can,
you burn it up, b'tchilat sheish. The beginning, that means from 11 till 12. You don't leave it the last minute before 12.
so you
Got
can
to start
just,
burning after 11.
so he's saying the opinion that you can only eat the whole of the 4th hour, and in the 5th hour you can only feed. And the Gemara in the second parak discusses that you can only feed, I think you can only feed, you can still feed when the Kohanim are still allowed to eat.
Just a minute, you're going further ahead. That's the Torah called Chomesh, the Torah Besova, Shvishi Chamishis. But listen, he says that the hour between 10 and 11, you must desist from everything, because you can still make a mistake by 2 hours. But as far as burning is concerned, ain't it tzorich. He does not need to do it. Doesn't need to burn. Burning starts techilas sheish. And he adds something else. Umachil v'hemtoi. He could even still give to the animals. In that toilet means he shouldn't eat it, but he gives to the animals, which we have in the Amish. Avol shishis abano also, but the hour from 11 till 12 is forbidden with the Rabbanon to have any benefit, because they do shuvshviz. Because he by mistake, when it's really already 12:30, thinks it's 11:30. And this, Rashi says, introduction to the next thing. If you want to say, maybe we'll carry on. Void Omar Rabbi Yehuda, or better the David, because we did. David, can you say Void Omar Rabbi Yehuda?
ועוד אמר רב יהודה, שתי חלות של תודה פסולות מונחת על גב האצטבה. 2 lobes in the Beit HaMikdash, 2 lobes of the Todah offering were put on the roof.
Now let me explain this. Until now we've dealt with the universal laws of Erev Pesach, wherever you are. We have this difference of opinion with Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. Whether we think people make a mistake in 2 hours or only in 1 hour. It's already spaced on. So that's the machlokes until the word va'oid, which only has a significance if you live outside Yerushalayim. But Yerushalayim, there's something else. Yerushalayim, we're talking about a time when there's Beis HaMikdash, and people on that day also brought their Korban Pesach. You know, what that Erev Pesach was like is unbelievable. It's an even report from the Romans. They said there were a million sheep were dealt with by the Kohanim. And remember, each sheep generally had whole families, 40 or 50 people joined in one sheep. Yeah, sometimes it's perhaps only 30, sometimes only 10. It was a family gathering. Because they came from all over the world, the Romans also used to come to watch it. There's a report brought to Josephus also describes it. He was living at that time. So it's so we can understand that they had to provide places where people could sit, and near the place where they did the shechita, Shon Harabayis. From there they could see at least what was happening a little bit. So they had special benches there, and people used to gather and see what's going on, Beis Hamikdash. So what did he say? They took Toido Pusulas. What's a Toido?
It's a korban.
What type of korban?
A korban of thanks that has.
On Erev Pesach, we do refer to the Toido on Erev Pesach.
We
You'll
don't
find
say-
all Siddurim mentions something concerning the Toido.
Not to
In
say
all
it.
Siddurim,
Not to say it.
not to say Mizmor LaToido. The Mizmor LaToido is the special psalm, Tehillim, which goes together with the Korban Toido, the Thanksgiving offering. And there's what's special about Thanksgiving offering?
It has loaves of bread. 10
Generally
loaves of bread.
speaking, all meal offerings were not allowed to have chometz. But there are two exceptions here. One is the public symbolic offering of the 2 loaves of bread in Shavuos, it's also chometz, and the other one is the Toido. The Thanksgiving offering contained chometz. So, and that, in truth is, you're allowed to eat chometz in the morning before midday, Minat Toido. But the Toido, of course, had to be pasul. Why? Because it's at a certain time in the day when it's forbidden to have meal offering made of chometz, even if it's only late in the day. But then the whole Todah is invalid if you can't eat it part of the day according to the law of the Torah. And therefore, if a person brought a korban today, got to give thanks. And by the way, which bracha is based and connected closely with the korban Torah? Which bracha? Abot tzvichim loides. You've got to take one into consideration. It says already in Tehillim, there are 4 different groups who have to say,
Gomer.
give thanks to Hashem by going to a place of Kriyas HaTorah, and they make a bracha. HaGoimel Chayim Tzevois, which is thanksgiving to Hashem in the bracha. So people used to bring Todot if they are out of danger, they're in great danger, and they're released from the danger, and there's categories for today also. So that applies to us all the year round. When it comes, however, to Pesach, which is the main celebration of Thanksgiving, we say the Pesach overrides every other offering, and therefore we can't. A Torah has got to be pasul, because it can't be kasher. We're not supposed to. It's a pasul in the korban. If there's a time like the second half of the day when normally you could eat the Torah, even the chometz, but since you're not allowed to eat it on Pesach, then therefore the Torah becomes possible, becomes invalid. But they still went and put on the top of the roof of this, perhaps a covered terrace where people could sit and be protected from the sun. They put on the top, they put 2 challahs of the Torah, which is a chometz. So if there are 2 challahs there, it was a symbol of people. Now you can still go and eat chometz. Doesn't matter. It's not yet 10 o'clock. It was like they didn't all have watches, and the sun wasn't so reliable. Some was clouded, so therefore they had them. So at least those people should know. Everyone went on eating, as long as they were both there. Then they took one away. And that meant it's probably already past 10 o'clock. It's been the hour of 10 and 11. Orchen was over, they didn't eat, but they know they don't have to burn it up yet. The burning up starts in the last hour, from 11 till 12. When bird taken away, everybody began to burn up the chometz. So Rashi says, "Shtei chalos." You want to say, David?
שתי חלות של חמץ. של חמץ.
Yeah. So I'll tell you, the Surah is
בתודה פסולות, וגמרא מפרש מען פסילין.
Paslinu. How? Which were? Who made them invalid? How did they make them invalid? It's a complex discussion. Water, yeah.
היו מונחת בכל ערב פסח. They would put it on the roof every ערב פסח.
Al Gav. Vitztabo.
אגב הצטבע,
Stove.
מה זה?
It means a long bench. A
השטוב
covered bench to protect person. Shebar Abayis.
שהיה בהר הבית, ששם מתקבצים ויושבים בני אדם והיו רואים אותן לסימן. So the people would sit and would see, would look at the loaves as a siman of what to do, as a
Of the time, which hour it is. Which now as long as they were both there, they knew they could still eat. It was before 10 o'clock. When one of them, then the shliach came and took one of them, B'tchilat Chamesh, beginning the 6th hour, from 10 to 11. Or shliach, Beten, so someone was sent from Sanhedrin, little, they took one away. So therefore they knew that it's pasul. That they knew that we've got to now stop eating, but not yet time to burn. When both were taken away, they all began to burn. Because they know this is the time of 11 o'clock, we'll stop burning. Everything should be burnt up by 12 o'clock. That's what Rabbi Yehuda said. No. Do you want to say Osher? Rabbi Gamliel, what did he say? Another opinion? Rabbi Gamliel אומר,
גמליאל יכולים חלין כל 4, תרומה כל 5 וסופים בתחילת 6. Rabbi Gamliel says the unconsecrated things are eaten until 4 hours, which is 9 until 10, and teruma all the 5 hours, and consecrated produce all the 5th hour, which is until 11. וסופים בתחילת 6, and we burn the chametz in the beginning of the 6th hour, which is 11 o'clock.
why? So the whole difference is this 5th hour, where it says you're still allowed to eat truma, but chulin you can't eat. So why not? So Rashi says, truma kol chamesh.
כלומר, כל 5, זה איסור להפסיד קודשים בידם,
כל זמן.
כל זמן שיוכל לאוכלם.
Because truma produce, there's a din in the Torah, you shouldn't burn it. If it's tahor, if it's pure, you not burn it. If it's pure, you shouldn't burn it. It should be eaten by the Kohanim. Kohanim are pure. Although today, of course, we don't have these laws, but in the time of the Beit HaMikdash and some even afterwards, so the Torah Kohanim were particular with any truma to keep it tahor, because they looked after laws of Torah, and the Kohanim used that as their food, and therefore it's not allowed normally to burn it. You've got to eat it. As long as there are Kohanim Torim, you can eat today. The Kohanim are not Torim, and therefore the truma which we separate from, for example, now from our garden, the fruit, which we take it has not truma so nice to separate it. See, all the garden fruit here, if you want to eat it, you've got to make a bracha and separate properly. What do you do with a certain part is for truma, can be even a small part. Trumas meiser is really 1/100th. That's why you've got to cut off from the fruit 100, that's plus, a bit more. And we call it truma. But what do we do with it also? You should not, don't burn it, it's pasul. Because it's tameh, today we're all tameh. You go and pick fruit, make it tameh. But what do we do? We've got to put it into plastic or something and allow it to rot. You shouldn't burn it. Allow it to rot, and then afterwards when it's entirely rotted, then it's okay, you also destroy it in any manner. But in the time when there's Brit Mishla, Kohanim, that was their food. So even on Erev Pesach, you try to preserve it as long as possible. And Minat Torah is permissible. And therefore they don't make a gezerah. They said, Truma, you should try, you can still eat it from 10 to 11. But from 11 to 12, you've got to, burning takes some time, see, another way. 10 to 11, you've got to burn it up.
But you can't burn trimmer. What are you going to do with the trimmer that's left over?
In the time of Beit HaMikdash, when the Kohanim were tahor, they should try to eat it. That's what Oichlim.
And if not,
In the intermediate hour where we say, call it ordinary food, you're not allowed to eat, but Roma, if possible, gets it to be eaten up. Batara, impurity. Should not be mafsid, kotchim, yodayim, kodman, should be eaten. But the bird, most of the people could not know exactly the difference between the 6th hour and the 7th hour. The 7th hour is forbidden in our Torah. You mustn't have any at all. You must have no benefit. Not eat. Okay, so
what are they going to do with
It's
this?
okay for the Kohen Gadol though, right?
Pardon?
The Kohen Gadol gets an extra hour or something like that?
The Kohen Gadol would?
He gets an extra hour?
Well, it's discussed in the Gemara. It's good with the detail. But the Kohanim, there's ways of discussion in the Gemara.
What will they do with the trimmer if it's left over?
Pardon?
You're going to have to let it rot.
Yes. Today, yes.
But it'll be chometz,
Oh, it's Pesach. So today, if it's, look, a fruit isn't common, but if it's a question of wheat, it's left over, of truma, then you have to let it, no good choice, you just have to let it rot. And
no choice.
and then burn it, in the last hour to burn it.
Burn it, so you can burn it.
In the last hour, certainly. Because the last hour you've got to get rid of it in that hour. And therefore, the last hour from 11 to 12, it's a rabbanon to go and still possess it, to eat it. And that applies also to truma. Because how else will you get rid of it? If you make a mistake, they think might think it's 11 o'clock, really it's all after 12. I think it's 11:30, really it's 12:30. 12:30 is Lisa Minatoiro.
The step of selling seems to be by the last hour we did biur chametz, so we really we removed and destroyed all the chametz we have. We did bitul chametz. We did it hefker. So what are we selling? And selling it seems to be the least tashkitu.
Whiskey in your pantry.
I'd say it's the least and it's the most. And you've got it depends on circumstances. Let's say a person, as I say, a person's got a bakery, yeah, or a person's got a store for cakes. So what's he going to do with his store? If he burns it up, he loses his business. That's the person who only deals with cakes, or deals with whiskey.
Whiskey.
Hefker.
Whiskey.
Hefker.
No, we don't.
Okay. If he just
Not
declared,
Gil.
but it's still his possession. So the Gemara says, a person like that, and we've got a simple example. It says, a person's got a lot of cakes which he keeps, and he's made it hefker, but then it comes to Pesach, and he's got a lot of guests, and he must provide them some cakes and koine. He himself will see the cakes and he'll say, he'll see Kluska, he'll see a very nice cake, and he'll forget about Pesach, because his appetite takes over. He'll take it. He sold it. He sold a part of his shop or part of his big pantry. He sold it to a non-Jew. It's got a sign on Chometz. But especially, let's say, maybe he's an adult person, but it's got family, it's got children. The Jew will say, it says, I mean, there's some age when the fact that it's forbidden makes it more tasty. So there's a certain age when adolescents, others, babies, they'll say, listen. Comes a certain age, they say, why shouldn't I have this fancy cake? It's there in the cupboard, I can easily open it, or if I can break the lock, or nobody will find out about it. Maybe I'll have a nice, I need it very much. I need it.
So the selling prevents him from getting. If he sold it, and then he takes it as getting.
It's all different circumstances. That's what the Chomah said, you've got to do bittul, and you've got to do many things, bittul and destruction, put it together. And selling to a non-Jew in certain instances is probably the only way. If you're tempted, I'm going to lose all my business or something, all sorts of circumstances. A customer deals with whiskies and other drinks that contain chometz, beer and so on. That's a good part, and it's got a business. And there comes someone in the middle of Pesach, someone comes up, I want to, or even the koichim, you sold it, yeah? So you might even say, look, let's make a deal, yeah? We made a sale. What's the pshat of the sale? But the sale contract says that I've got to give it back to you afterwards. Well, let's make a deal. That half of it I'll keep, yeah, and I'll pay for it. Yeah? So the person can't resist it because he's got such stores, and during the year the sales go very slow. He comes along and says, "Look, I'm willing to pay the full price." So therefore, the balabat, in a weak moment, okay. So if he pays them the money for it, so the total value, not symbolical value, it's a problem. I think even there's so many different instances that arise where we see how important all the precautions are. There's a case that turned out once that the person who was involved, regarded a non-Jew, was really a Jew. Another instance where there was a bit of a swindle from one who was buying it, and he really used it to extract more money from the Jews. So in Israel, the problems also not so simple.
How can they to sell the chometz and then to buy it back after Pesach?
Yeah.
How can this be allowed to fit the description of tashbitu? Because
it said mipotechem, from your domain, and it's no longer your domain. It said emphasized the Chumash constantly. V'yeh lecha chametz, lecha sa'or, lecha v'lo la'akum. That's the whole story. Look, for that you've got to learn a lot of sukkahs in the Gemara. The prohibition is that you mustn't have. It shouldn't belong to you technically. But so that in order to avoid abuse of this principle, I had a case a few years ago. It was very complex. That I had to deal myself with the sale of the shop. I didn't leave it all to the best in, and they didn't really have. At that time, their contracts didn't cover his shop so much. So I had to deal with it. It's very complex. So And they make for the shops, all shopkeepers under the Rabbanut, all the rabbis, they have to come early to work out a special contract which should be binding.
What's the reason for burning it? Because to get it to do beer is the best way to burn it.
Sometimes it's the easiest way, sometimes not.
But Rabbi Meir said it's chiyuv. Rabbi Yehuda.